Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting tonight. My name is Ricky Pitts, and I'll be your presenter tonight. And we're going to talk about a subject that has affected people all over the country. I think really in many parts of the world, they want to know, how can I get out of debt? How can I get my financial house in order? And who can I talk to? I don't know what to do. Had a guy to come by my office, may have been yesterday. Him and his wife came up. They are marriage counselors and they do marriage retreats. And we were talking there, and he's also an ex-military guy. We were talking about what affects marriages. And you would have thought that one of the big things is infidelity, which is a pretty big thing as well, but finances, money. More going out than coming in. One person thinks this way, other person thinks that way. And before you turn around, they're going their separate ways or going to see an attorney because they can't come together on the money. So this is a very, very important subject tonight. And I'd like to encourage you to give us 30 minutes of your time, if 30 minutes. Don't try not to multitask. I know it's easy to do this, and this, and this, but tonight, for just a few minutes, give us a few minutes of your time to listen to how this information can literally change your entire life. There are many things that we can talk about tonight. We're not going to deal with all 9 subjects on the screen, but we're going to talk about this one here: pay off debt. If we don't work on a game plan to pay off that debt, it's going to be some very, very difficult days ahead when we have to tell our children no, or tell ourselves no, because the debt is so massive to where there's no way around it, and there's no way to achieve or to grant whatever the request might be. We believe that financial freedom should be free. And I want you to ask yourself, now there are 4 things here, but I want to really narrow down to this one thing here. How can I save for the future when I have so much debt? Now, all of us on this webcam, we're going to get old one day. However we define old. Some people say one thing, some say another. We believe that 65 is the new 55. We believe that 75 is the new 65, and all the way down the line. But however we define it, however we believe it to be, on how we feel, it's coming if the good Lord gives us time. And so the question then becomes, is this going to prevent me from retiring with some degree of dignity because I've amassed so much debt? We also believe that we have the power, all of us, to become financially independent. We can get out of debt. We can build the savings. We can get on the path to financial independence. But it is a path. And it starts with believing, yes, we can do this. And you might not always have a fan club. You might not always have a cheerleading squad in your home. Sometimes it might just be you. It might just be the husband, might just be the wife, whoever can handle the money the best. It's important to take this on because it affects us in so many different ways. And so it starts with taking control. We got to take control. Now, control just doesn't yield itself voluntarily. It's something we got to do. Now, there are 9 things you see on the screen here. I'm not going to focus on all 9 of those things. I'm going to look at this, just a few things. We got to adjust our priorities. That's number 1. Adjust our lifestyle. That's number 2. Avoid the credit trap. You know, it's that word adjustment. And I'm sure all of us have seen people that they go through different phases and stages of life event changes, and fail to make the adjustment. Get 20 years older, 30 years older, still trying to live like a teenager, still trying to live like a 20-year-old, and they're 60. You know, that's ugly, right? And so because they fail to make the adjustment. Well, the same rule applies in our financial lives. The things that intrigued us when we was in high school and college and living what we call the good life or the single life, those things can't carry the same level of priority as we get older, because we won't be able to survive if we don't make the necessary changes. And then I want to talk to you about goal setting. Now, some goal setting tips. And I'm not going to deal with all 5 for the sake of time, but I want to concentrate on get personal. Get personal, make it personal. Write down why. This is a very big deal. This WHY right here, this keeps us going. Everything inside of us say stop. Why do you want to do it? I mean, why do you want to achieve that goal? How is it affecting your quality of life? How's it affecting the relationships in our lives? If it's affecting it in a negative way, if it's causing people to have headaches and say things out of their mouth they can't get back, we got to make some changes. And then listen, this may not be the case with everybody, but I've been doing this for over 30 years now, and I've seen it to be the case with quite a few until they put together a game plan. We're going to start with paying off the debt. And debt can be a real enemy. And if we don't attack that debt with a strategy, it can linger for a very long time. Now, compound interest is a very powerful thing. As a matter of fact, Albert Einstein said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. But there's some bad news about compounding effect on the other side. And so here's a case here where they got a $3,000 credit card purchase, and they had a 20% interest rate. Interest is something serious, and they were paying the minimum payments. It's going to take them 10 and a half years to pay that debt off by paying the minimum payment. They're going to pay $2,350 in interest alone. They're going to end up paying $5,350 for that item. Let's say that item was a Ride Mower. I hope that is a really good Ride Mower, because they just paid double the cost for it, or whatever it may be. It could be a variety of things, but interest is real, and we need to have a game plan and a strategy to pay it off. And you're going to have one tonight. And it could even be more detailed than what I'm going to show you tonight from a general standpoint. We can make it personal and show you one based on your numbers. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is revolving debt versus fixed debt. Credit cards almost it's like the enemy. Credit cards can can hang on like a utility bill, like a water bill, light bill, just will never go away without a plan. And so revolving debt is a credit card. So $17,000 at 18%. Right now it's $575 per month, and that's going to change as the balance goes down. That payment also goes down. But then there's another one, $17,000 at the same 18%, but it's fixed debt. They're paying $595 a month, and it does not change. What difference does it make? Well, it's going to take them 17 years and 2 months to pay off that revolving debt. They're going to pay $12,500 in interest alone. On that fixed debt, although it's 18%, the payment is going to be the same. They're going to pay it off, and they're going to pay $5,370 and pay it off in 3 years and 2 months. I was talking to a client the other day, and we were talking about interest, and he just couldn't stand that interest, and like a lot of folks can't stand that interest. Well, and the point that I made to a very, very sharp couple is that it's not necessarily interest rate, but interest rate exposure. How long are you exposed to that rate? Now, obviously, we want to get the lowest rate that we can on everything that we spend money on, finance. That's not always the case. But if we can eliminate that process or accelerate the process of getting out of debt, you pay a whole lot less than you would pay by going the entire term. That's the difference. Let's talk about now debt stacking, the snowball effect. This is an old concept, been around for a long time, but it's very, very effective. And so on this side here, this is all the debt that they have on this side, paying out $27.20 per month. At some point, this retail card, that $220 is going to be paid out. Now they freed up $220 per month. Going to take that $220 and add it to this other payment here, this $353. Now we're going to send them $573 per month. That $573 is going to be gone at some point. Going to take that $573 and add it to this car loan, and send them now $1124. Now that's gone and that's gone. Gonna take this 1124 that they freed up now, add it to this other credit card here, which is 303 per month, and add these two together and send them the total of 1427 per month. Now this credit card is gone and they got 1427 freed up. Gonna take this 1427, add it to the mortgage, which is only 1293. Add these two together, gonna send them the total of 2720. At no point is any more than 2720 going out of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, that's debt stacking. When one bill is paid, we're not gonna say, oh, hallelujah, Lord, you've made a way for me to go get this brand new car. No. Keep driving that Honda, that Toyota, that Ford, that Chrysler, that whatever, that Jeep, whatever it is, the Chevrolet, a little while longer. Change the oil, wash it real good, wax it. Spend $400 on a complete wax job. It'll look good, smell good, run good. Just wash it. Don't go get another one, not right now, but in time. Do it in time. Now, here's another important thing. Debt stacking at work. If they don't do debt stacking, they're going to be in debt for 24 years because they did not do debt stacking. They're going to pay $212,000 in interest alone, although they're paying out the same $2720 per month. If they do debt stacking, look at the difference. Out of that 15 years sooner, that's in 9 years, they're going to avoid $130,000 in interest. And what's amazing, they're paying the same $2720 here that they're paying over here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is organized economic defense. It's running a zone on that money, not trying to play it man to man. This is my bill, that's your bill. No, these are our bills, and we're gonna knock this thing out. If it's a couple, if it's a single mother, this is children, these are our bills. I can't go get you these expensive tennis shoes, these expensive, whatever it may be. The next gadget, mama just can't do it right now because this is what we have. So sometimes it's important to have a family meeting. I had a couple not long ago, and I was so happy and proud to see how this father is leading his family. Brought the whole family into the office, he and his wife and the daughters, and talked about money, talked about investment, talked about annuity, talked about doing the financial needs analysis. Had a family meeting. We got to get back to that, ladies and gentlemen, because sometimes what I found, and I'm sure you've seen it over the years, we're so busy trying to impress people that we don't know, buying things that we don't need with money that we don't have. And that new item, that brand new shiny object, is going to be old in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or 2 or 3 days. And you're still going to have that payment. Now, these are some common mistakes right here you want to avoid. And all these are important, but I'm going to concentrate on one. Not being aware of your total debt. That is a very common mistake with a lot of families. So I'd like to encourage everyone that's in the class tonight to take your time and write down everything you owe money on. The mortgage, the car payment, the Visa card, the MasterCard, the student loan, the payday loan, little Joe, Uncle Bro, baby sister, kin folks. Write down everyone you owe money to and how much you owe them. And those that have interest rates, what is the interest rate? Put it on paper, because we cannot fix what we don't identify. We got to first of all identify where we are. I worked at a place years ago called the Falk Corporation, and I ran a big machine. And it had to be intolerance, or if it wasn't intolerance, the part could be made out of tolerance. And so when it wasn't running right, we did something called statistical process control, and we narrowed that down, SPC. We narrowed that statistical process control down to like 3 or 4 things until we found out what the real problem was. It's the same thing with our finances. We got to narrow it down, put it on paper, and find out what the real problem is. There are 5 tips to raise the credit score, and I'm going to kind of cover these. Know your score, number 1. It's important to know if that FICO score is up here, or if it's here, or if it's way down here. Know what that score is. Number 2, it's important to not miss a payment. The guy that came in, the military guy, he served in combat, and he told me being late in combat could cause your life. He said you could die being late. He said when a guy was late, I guess that he in his command, he would fire the guy, terminate him because he was late. He said 13 seconds can mean the difference in your entire life. We're talking about now the financial life. We're talking about paying things on time, doing all you can to make sure that it's on time. Number 2 is catch up on overdue accounts. Set a goal to catch them up. The 4th thing is keep a low balance on the credit cards. That's one thing as well. The credit cards, send a nice letter in the mail. Oh my goodness, you've been such a great customer and we're going to raise your rate. Oh my goodness, we're going to take you up another $5,000. Boy, I'm doing pretty good. These folks right here, they glad to have me. Yeah, they glad. The 5th one is don't apply for credit often. You know, sometimes you go to places like Kohl's or whatever the store may be, Belts, and they say apply for a Belts card or a Kohl's card or whatever the department store may be. Today, we're going to give you a $15 something something. And you can come in and spend this $15 however you want to spend that $15. And people keep doing that and they fall for that. And every time they keep doing that, these inquiries on their credit report, it's causing the credit report to drop. We'll talk now about the power of home ownership and why we should focus on owning our home. Here's a scenario here where they bought a home for $250,000. They paid 20% down, so that they left a balance that was financed of $200,000. Paid $50,000 down, and the balance that was financed is $200,000. Well, the house appreciated in value. Let's say 4.5% a year. So in 30 years, that house is worth $925,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that's got to be true. I was talking to a good friend of mine out in Texas. He and his wife moved from Alabama to Texas, bought a real beautiful home out there in Texas. And we were talking the other day. It's been, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, maybe 2 years, if that long. And they got the house built and up and in the house. And the wife made the point the other day. She said, Ricky, did my husband tell you that this house now is worth another $250,000 in addition? It appreciated another $250,000 in a short period of time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a really, really big deal. We want to do all we can to pay it off, keep it up, and in time, that's a real investment. Now let's look at how we can pay it off. If we don't pay it off early, just make the regular payments. In this scenario here, the house that I just showed you, they're going to pay $257,117 in interest alone. If they make a bi-weekly payment, so let's say the payment just hypothetically is $1,000 a month. So they're not going to do this. They're going to pay $500 every 2 weeks. 5 this 2 weeks, 5 that 2 weeks, and that's going to save them $52,000 just by doing a bi-weekly payment. If they do a bi-weekly payment and add $50 to every payment, another $100 a month total, they're going to save $82,000 in interest. Now let's look at this another way. If they make the regular payment, let's just say it's $1,000 a month. Of course, it's going to be more than that in this example here, but they're going to pay it off they're going to go 30 years on paying that house off. Doing a bi-weekly payment, 24 years and 8 months. Doing a bi-weekly payment plus another $50 on each bi-weekly payment, 21 years and 5 months. It is amazing, by putting just a little extra aside, what it could do over the long run. So it's really important. And now the power of ownership is very powerful. Number one, we build equity in our home. Number two, there's a tax advantage. There's no tax advantage in paying rent payments typically. Number three, you own it your way. You can paint it. You can have pets in there. You can improve it. There's just a lot of things you can do when you own your own property. The last one, there's an emotional benefit. You feel a sense of accomplishment. Well, my goodness, I own this. I'm buying this. This is an appreciating asset. And then the next one is stability. I'm putting down some roots. I feel that I've made a major accomplishment when buying a home, but that takes preparation. That takes a plan. That takes working on a system to get out of debt. Even if many of us have a home now, but how bad do we really want to get out of debt? Can we say no to certain things that we really want to say yes to? If we can do that, ladies and gentlemen, we can make a big difference in our lives. I'm going to close with this. I want you to think about this. I'm going to read this, and just if you would read along with me here. Are the retired people you know living life on their own terms? Did they have to work longer than they wanted to and put off retirement until it was really too late to really enjoy that time? Do they wish they had started earlier with a financial game plan for their golden years? Don't make that mistake. Get started now and take control of your future. I want you to, if you would please, scan that QR code. And that it's going to take you to a site called How Money Works, the real How Money Works. And on that site, there's going to be a book called How Money Works. I'd like you to read that book, please. It's about 40 pages. And whoever invited you out tonight, take some time to meet with them one-on-one and to talk about how to get the financial house in order. I was talking to a young man earlier this morning, I think it was, and he started his own business. The business wasn't doing that well. He had to make some changes. He said, Ricky, I don't know what I'm going to do now. And has a wife, got a car, got a house, and all the things that go along with relationship and building a life. He said, I got to go and get me a job doing something. And then people are going to talk about me. My neighbors are going to say this, look at him, he started his own business and it didn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. People are going to talk if you do good. People are going to talk if you do bad. You can't just take them off the list trying to please them. That's impossible to please people. What I'm saying is do what needs to be done to get the financial house in order, and don't worry about how it looks. Listen, it is what it is. It takes what it takes. So I would encourage you to meet with, if I invited you out tonight, if I've not already met with you, let's meet one-on-one. If Bessie Harris invited you out tonight, if LaTanya invited you out tonight, if whoever invited you out tonight, take the time to meet with them one-on-one and discuss these concepts in more details and look at a way to pull it all together, to organize the financials, to look at all the key areas like protection management and all the things that go along with protection management, like a will, a living will, power of attorney, life insurance, car insurance, all these important things, like debt management, putting everything on paper, getting out of debt, like expense management, having a budget, like asset management, looking at retirement, looking down the road because down the road is coming, or maybe income management, which means doing something extra, getting a part-time job, getting another job, like my friend said today, when he found out that he don't have to worry about what people are going to say. It all begins with making a decision. To get out of debt is a decision, and we all can do it. And oh my goodness, what a good feeling. Not to owe anybody nothing but to love it. Hey, thank y'all for plugging into our Zoom call tonight. We're gonna have another meeting like this in about 2 more weeks. That meeting is gonna talk about budgeting. Hope you can attend. Invite your friends, invite everybody that you know, and we'll get the registration information out there very soon. We'd love to see you then. Y'all take care.